What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night. It is April 2nd. It's April already. I was telling my wife, I'm here in Minnesota now, and there's still like remnants of snow on the ground. Actually, it snowed earlier today too, but I guess I've been here long enough to be like, it's just like a rain shower. But it doesn't, in my mind, in the still getting used to the seasons and being here in Minnesota, it doesn't quite feel like April to me, but I'm extremely happy that it's here. I got my my road bike out the other day. Man, I haven't ridden on flat land. I didn't ride in Florida because there's really not good bike lanes or trails. There's more, but there's not that much. And then in the mountains in North Carolina, it was impossible. So it was great to be out on the road bike again. Anyway, I hope spring is going well for you. Ovulations are abound. It's a time of great anticipation, all that good stuff. I hope you had a good Easter. Hopefully you got some, time with your family, whether you celebrate, whether you're religious or not. Maybe you got just a little holiday in, a little family time, a little time to yourself, March Madness, whatever makes you tick. I hope you found that this weekend. I don't know if I said thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. I know you could be in a lot of other places tonight, and I know that we don't get any extra time on this planet. So thank you very, very much. Tonight, we got Matt Sommers from Menifee, California, down between LA and San Diego. Matt and I met at Tinley and kind of hit it off, and it was really a no-brainer to get him on the show. So I know him a little bit, but I don't know him great, and I'm really lacking on that kind of West Coast scene. So we're going to dive into all that. He keeps a variety of animals. He's in the process of expanding and making some pretty serious investments. So we're going to dive into that, and then, of course, we're going to talk about pythons. And he's just an easy guy to hang out with. We ended up hanging out quite a bit in Tinley. So Matt will be on later tonight. Stick around for that. Some quick announcements. I'll be in Des Moines, Iowa at the Cold-Blooded Expo show. If you haven't been to those cold-blooded shows in the Midwest, they're fantastic. No affiliation other than I've been there, but like they're not on like the advertiser payroll. Like I do okay with advertising, but I'm not like, hey, Adam, mention me, I'll throw you some money kind of thing, So Cold-Blooded Expos, they're pretty high up on the list of my in the circuit here in the Midwest. So anyway, I'm back to Des Moines. That was a good show last time. I hope it's a good show again, for obvious reasons, but I also would like to see some people that I made connections with and all of that sort of thing. So if you're in the Des Moines area, or, I don't know, is there a tri-state area of whatever, come hang out Des Moines on, it's a Sunday show, Sunday. I started a new initiative on my Patreon. Every Thursday, a new video drops on Patreon, and it's sort of similar to what I was doing on YouTube on a regular basis, except for less edited, just straight to the point, straight into the content, no editing. My problem with doing the full-on YouTube videos like I was doing was coming up with a thumbnail, doing the SEO, editing out the ums, the ahs, the breaks, all that. It's really, really time consuming, but I felt like there was a lot of good content to share, and the Patreon membership could tell me what they want to hear about. So anyway, every Thursday that drops, usually I was going to say 8 to 10 minute video, but I get my yapper going. So, 15 to 20 minute video, really heavily business focused generally. Anyway, I filmed one today that is about posting ads and how I make revenue on, believe it or not, on Facebook selling ball pythons. So if you want to check that out, check out the Patreon. The entry tier is $7 a month. I mean, just checking out the video content might be worth that for you. Anything above the $7 tier comes back to you in store credit right out of the gate. So it's a great community. I love being a part of it, and you might like it. So check it out. I hope you do. I got eggs. I thought that I sort of wanted them to be Easter eggs, just because I'm cheesy that way. But they came on Saturday, which I don't know if Saturday before Easter has a name, but it's the Saturday before Easter. But it's my second shot at super blackhead genetic stripe babies. I still don't think we've seen that before. I could be wrong. Actually, Dale would probably know. I don't know if y'all have seen those before or not. I don't know if they exist. Either way, I'm excited for it. It's long odds. It's what, 1 in 4 times 1 in 4. It's 1 in 16. I don't know if this is how odds work. Last year I got 7 eggs and I didn't hit it. This year I got 7 eggs. So I'm up to 14, maybe, maybe if that's what I'm hoping for. But we should see blackhead genetic stripes, regular genetic stripes, super blackheads, het genetic stripe. It's a cool clutch. So they will be there, and I definitely can't keep all 7 of them. So check it out. They got beautiful veins. They're looking good. I'll let you know what we get towards the end of May, I guess. So lots of other ovulations. I got good stuff coming on. And the other thing about the Patreon is all the hatchlings, the Patreon members get first dibs before it goes to Morph Market or anybody else. So there's another perk there, but you can check that out on the Proper Royals Patreon. Just as a public service announcement, I cannot, I don't think it's legal. I don't ship rodents. So the marketing is working. Talking about the rodents, starting an Instagram channel, posting videos. I can't ship rodents. I don't even have gas for them. I've yet to freeze one single rodent of my own. So my production is good, but I'm using a fair amount. I sell a fair amount locally, and I love that everybody. There's been several inquiries just this week about me shipping them. I don't know what the rules are on dry ice. I don't know what the legalities are when it comes to the shipping companies consider them carcasses. And I have some insight to this because I happen to know a shipping guy. I don't know if you guys have seen the little oval logo, but I do know a shipping guy, and I did ask about some of it. And when you're this far into a business, you got to do it on the up and up. You got to do it the right way. I'm not in the shipping game. I don't foresee myself getting into the shipping game. Nonetheless, if you are local, regional, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, you need some ASFs, talk to me. There we go. Hey, huge shout out to Antoine High Desert Pythons, a former California guy, now Carolina guy. It was a personal conversation, so I'm not going to get real specific on it, but really great phone call unexpectedly from Antoine this week. I very, very much appreciated Antoine. Class act. It's always looked out for me, and I'll leave it there. But if you get a chance to support Antoine, please do. And it's really kind of cool to get a little nod or looked after from people that you look up to. So thanks so much, Antoine. Cheers, man. I get it. New advertiser. I wish I had a bell, like ding, 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 new advertiser. Robbie Richard from RGen Reptiles is on board. You'll see his logo here in just a moment when I bring Matt on. Robbie is in Greer, South Carolina. And I should say this about all of the sponsors. I'm really, really happy and proud of sort of birds of a feather flock together. I'm really, really kind of proud of the people that have chosen to advertise with me and that are a brand fit. And Robbie's right there. Excellent guy, fantastic person. We did some business in the past where a challenge came up in the form of shipping, and it was just the right thing all around. Real stand-up guy. He's been on the show before. If you get a chance to check out that episode, really, everybody throws around positivity and all that, but just a good guy that you want to hang out with and that you trust to do business, all that sort of thing. So thanks for joining the team. Thanks for the support, Robbie. I really, really appreciate it. I'll tell you all about what he's got going on later. Thanks to the audience. There's 30 of you here. That's what I'm talking about. I saw Dale, Jeremy, Chris, Jason, man, Steven's here. I heard there was I thought there'd be an event that maybe you were at, or maybe you're double attending. I like it. I hope it goes well. I can't advertise it right now, but I hope it goes well. You guys know I suck at these shout outs. Quentin, how you doing? Phil. Hey, I got a call with Chris in the morning, and I feel like, I might need to text you tonight. I feel like we might be looking for a guitar in July. Or Chris could be telling me he's greatly dissatisfied with me and he wants his logo off my show. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the case. So Rick, what's going on? Kai, what's going on, man? Hey, Kai, I bought a male. Let me see if I can remember it off the top of my head. Orange Stream, Yellow Belly, Enchi, Pinstripe, Het Candy, possible Het Pied male off an auction. And I'll be real honest, I had just come back from vending. I had a pocket full of cash and a couple glasses full of wine, but I feel like it was a deal on that male that I got. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but look, man, people are good for their word. Kai said it was possible Het Pied. Checked with Charlie, shedtesting.com. Boom, Het Pied. So Orange Stream, Yellow Belly, Enchi, Pinstripe, double Het Pied candy. I'm pretty pumped about that male all of a sudden. So pretty cool stuff. Thanks, Kai. I appreciate you hanging out, but I appreciate the snake and you being honest about it actually being possible Het Pied, man. That's cool. Matt Sommers. I met Matt at Tinley this past year, and I have to ask him, I'll be real honest. I don't really remember like the moment that we met. I know we were out having drinks. That could be part of the reason why, but I'd been out to dinner with Stephen and Courtney. And then like at Tinley, like I wouldn't say you bar hop, but you sort of, there's like 4 or 5 places where everybody's hanging out and there's little groups at each different place. And you just kind of hop around, you know? And anyway, I got to meet Matt and we got to talking and it was just easy conversation. It was easy with our personalities. And I admit, I didn't know him. I don't know that he knew me. But it was clear that we were all into reptiles and hanging out and having a good time and that sort of thing. And we ended up hanging out quite a bit that weekend and it was real cool. And when I had a chance to catch my breath and, you know, relax a little bit, I was like, I wonder what this guy Matt's up to. Man, he's got a YouTube channel. He's hell of a marketer, many species that he keeps. He's working on expanding a snake room. I was like, man, this is an easy match right here. This is a no-brainer to get Matt on the show. So with all that being said, if you haven't met Matt before, Matt Sommers from Menifees, California, please welcome for the very first time to the Proper Royal stage, Matt Sommers.
What's up, Matt? How you doing, man?
I am good. I'm good. Thank you for being here tonight.
Happy to be here. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, well, likewise. I appreciate you as well. And we were talking in the green room, man, like life's not all that complicated, but I forget that Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern on the East Coast is only 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And
yeah.
people do have jobs and lives to live and all of that. So it's like, what, 4:50 you signed into the green room today?
Yeah, about 4:50, yeah.
Hey, come hang out Tuesday night or 4:50 in the afternoon.
It's not too bad though. I mean, my work's only like a half hour from home, so and I usually get up at 4 o'clock anyways. But
well, nonetheless, I appreciate it, man. I thank you very much for being here. So, for those of us, maybe for those of folks that don't know you, take a moment, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you got going on, and some of the stuff that you're working with.
Yeah, so I'm Matt from, like you said, Menifee, California, which for people that don't know California too well, I'm about midway point between LA and San Diego, half hour from Temecula, which has the big FedEx hub that I go to, and I think virtually everybody goes to in SoCal because they're always talking about, oh, more snakes. Like during COVID, they were constantly talking about how many snakes they would get in on like a daily basis. It was insane.
Right.
But I've been keeping snakes since late 2018, actually. I bought my first, it was a normal, typical story, you know, and then a few months later, after my birthday, I was like, well, I kind of want to get more of these. You know, they're really easy to take care of. And then I found Morph Market, and that was just opened the floodgates, and then you start getting into other species, you know, and it was all downhill from there. And then the breeding with the ball pythons, that didn't really start until about 2021. So I guess, you know, typically I'm a COVID breeder, but
well, I was going to ask, doesn't so you've had them since 2018, but I think in your logo it says like established 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, 2020 was when I kind of got the idea of like, well, maybe I'll just, because initially I was just buying things to make like blue-eyed Lucy's for myself.
Right.
Because I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to buy at that. Okay, so this is how crazy it is. At that point, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to pay $500 for a blue-eyed Lucy. I'll just buy these two snakes and I'll breed them, and then I'll breed the offspring and I'll just make my own.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think
6 years later, you have a white snake, right?
And now it's gone a completely different route. But yeah, 2021 was about when I was kind of like, I'm going to try to make this my own thing, because the company I work for is my family's business. It's construction.
Okay.
So my grandfather started it, and then my father took it over. And everyone's, like, oh, are you going to take it over and keep it going? I'm kind of like, that's not my thing. I love working for him and everything, but they're both very passionate about it, where I'm not into it like they are, where I'm passionate about the reptiles.
Yeah.
And music, obviously. But I kind of wanted to take my grandfather's route and just make my own thing and branch out on my own and kind of do my own thing. I was like, I want to start my own business and see if I can get this going. And so far, I mean, it's slow. Everybody knows with the snake thing, it's not like you start it up and instantly have success and you're making six figures.
No, other than, here at Proper Royals, but yeah, generally it's pretty tough. Yeah. I'm joking.
Like, it's like, people always like, oh, how much did you sell this year and all that? I'm just kind of like, well, I'm still, I'm only 8 clutches in 2 years for the first 2 years. And this year I'm pairing 20, but cool. Theoretically I'm hoping if I can get 10 to 15, I'll be super happy.
Right. Are most of those first time, or I wouldn't say most, what percentage of those are first time breeders for you?
A lot of them are going to be, I've only got like 4 girls that are going to be second year and third year breeders.
Yeah, that was one of the first, I think it was Danny at Portuguese Pythons when I was sort of lamenting on some episode one night, and I was like, well, not that many of my girls win, or I'm only clicking like 50, 60%. And like immediately he was like, well, are most of yours first time breeders? I was like, yeah, almost all of them. He's like, oh, well, there's your challenge. It's just, they just got to get started and get going. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, nobody told me that up front, so but yeah, that was stuck in my mind on that.
Yeah, it's, and the ball pythons are the main focus, but I actually just this year, I just got into the crested geckos.
Okay.
So, and that kind of like stemmed from the California shows, because I was kind of realizing there's a lot, like the super shows are great. They're amazing. They're the only ones I actually do in California. I haven't done any other shows. But you realize there's a lot of ball pythons there, and you get a lot of people that go and they're like, I don't really want to buy my kid a snake. And I thought, well, what if I had my table have more than just snakes and start putting some geckos on there? And then I could kind of be like, well, I have geckos too if you don't want a snake. Expand my reach.
Yeah, I constantly wrestle with is it flooded because it, or is everybody doing it, and does that make it flooded, or is everybody doing it because it's the backbone of the industry, and that's what most people are coming to buy? And I don't have the answer. That's just this philosophical debate that goes on in my head, and I won't say who, because I never know if people want quotes attributed to them or whatever. But somebody reached out to me that's become a pretty good friend, and he's like, man, I breed probably 15 things. He's like, ball pythons outsell all of them almost combined. I was like, yeah, ball pythons and rodents. That's it for me, man.
And that's even why some of my clutches I'm pairing, they're just going to be simple things like blue-eyed Lucy's and simple pieds and simple bananas, because those are the ones I get asked for the most at shows. Whenever I do a show, people are always, do you have any blue-eyed Lucy's? No, I'm sorry. And I kind of learned that the hard way. My first shows, I had one of my first clutches was like a double het banana clutch. It was a double het hypo clown, and I had a lot of chocolate banana and she double hets on the table. But I was pricing them for what they were worth. At that time about $700.
Right.
And I'll never forget, there was a guy that came up and he was looking at him, and I was talking to him, and he goes, well, the guy over there has a banana for like $150, and I was like, probably not the same banana. It's probably just a banana, but
a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, okay. So you have to go into explain genetics and all that usually.
Yeah, there's it really depends on the show that sort of you're at. Like very few, I will say the Florida circuit was good for attracting everything from like newbie pet owners to actually really avid breeders. I remember Dale will probably know who I'm talking about, although I won't say the guy's name. There was a guy that was just like hanging out one day, and I was vending with Dale, and I was like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "He's kind of a customer," and he was like hanging out all day. And then in the afternoon, I don't know how much, like I never got into Dale's money whatsoever, but Dale and the guy step aside, and I just see this wad of cash come out. I'm like, oh, that's why he gets to hang out all day. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And I was like, man, there was a $40 corn snake sale at that end of his table. And then down here is the dude with the cash. Just like, I was like, okay, these shows are a little bit of everything, but that's the circuit I was on for a while. But here in the Midwest, I've seen everything from like, obviously Tinley, but that's an outlier. But like even the cold-blooded expos, they bring pretty good breeders, especially here in Minneapolis. But then also, why would I pay $300 for this female banana when the guy's got $100 one over there? And I'm like, well, it's a sex link to gene. Never mind. I don't know. Just go buy it. Never mind. Buy your, okay. Yeah. I'm not going to sell mine for $100. And if all you want. So sometimes you really got to think about like, am I passing the grandma test, and how many of these breeders will come up, and
that's exactly what I went through too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And fortunately or unfortunately, I only have enough displays for just about the inventory that I have. So I really don't have to make those decisions. I just bring everything. If it sells, great. If it doesn't sell, then, okay, whatever.
That's kind of me right now too. Is I've got 2 displays. I'm kind of like, if it sells, great. Like at the end of the day, for me, still being, new and relatively small when it comes to selling at shows, if I can cover my table and my parking, I'm happy, because the way I look at it is it's free advertising basically.
Yeah. And it's, I've decided there's a value in people getting familiar with your logo, and doing that sooner than later. I've decided there is a value to that. I don't know what tables cost. Everybody's got a different price on that exposure price point value, but I do believe in that. And I've seen it, whether it's, Tampa Repticon or a Florida circuit, or I've seen it in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. The second and third time I do a show, I do it better. Hell, Green Bay, perfect example. The second or the third time I do the show, the better and better it is. And it could just be luck. I mean, 2 shows is a small sample size, but it seems to happen over and over. And then here locally, I advertise with the focus, like on like Facebook and Instagram advertising. You can pick a zip code and do a certain mile radius. So I just picked the center of Minneapolis and do a 25-mile radius on that. And lots of people are like, "Oh, you're that guy on the internet."
Yeah, I've seen you. I've seen you.
I'm like, yes, that's exactly right. I am that guy. Now, whether they buy or not, I don't know, but it does work, and they come, So I think that there is value to that, especially like you say, if you've got 8 clutches and 20 on the way. Well, yeah, now's the time to get your name out there.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. Anyway. It's kind of a bummer because I know I believe it's Pomona is next, and then Anaheim, but they're really close together, and they're both landing in a time frame where I'm likely not going to have any clutches out yet. So I won't be able to vend those shows this year because I'm not going to have anything to sell.
I was going to say, so what do you do? Are you going to go attend them though?
I'm just going to attend them and hang out. Yeah. Right now I've got 4 males available, and that's it. Like it's a good problem to have, honestly,
right.
But I'm not going to go vend a show with 6 snakes, something like that.
No, but I did notice, like, you're pretty good at I think, anyhow, maybe you don't think so, but I think you were pretty good at just going and making contacts, introducing yourself, learning people. So, I mean, I don't know how you necessarily reach customers that way, but reaching the other breeders that are at the show and building relationships and that lead to things like this and all that, I thought was, pretty strong suit of yours. So it's probably worthwhile going for.
Yeah. And that's really what I try to do. Whenever I go to a show that I'm not vending, I just try to meet people and talk and, kind of get face to the name out there and so on.
Yeah. Those are both I think I know Pomona, but they're both 2-day shows, right?
Yeah. Saturday,
Yes.
Sundays.
So you do the kind of the 2-day experience like you did with Tinley.
Yeah. I think so. Pomona, the one coming up might be a 3-day. They're doing something different, so they're making it like a reptile, bird, and aquatic show coming up, which is
I gotcha.
It's going to be real different, and I'm kind of bummed I'm not going to be able to do it because it's the first time they're doing all 3 in one. I'm kind of like, oh man, but
yeah,
next time.
Well, yeah, but it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll still be valuable to see that from even as a spectator, just to see the scene and kind of get a feel for it. Like, I'm curious to see how that goes. There's a show. Well, actually, I have kind of a bad taste in my mouth already because they were like, "Hey, we talked about you vending. Here's the price if you want to do it." And I was like, I didn't ever talk to you in my life about vending, but
You're like,
it's like but it's just like, it's just called a pet expo instead of like specific, like you're saying, like a birds, fish, reptile, all that. That would be, it would be cool to have that like specialized versus like puppies over there or whatever, or ferrets or I don't know. Ferrets are kind of neat, but they stink, but they're kind of neat. But anyway,
you can't have them in California. You can't have a lot of animals in California. It's nuts.
Oh, you can't even have ferrets?
You can't have ferrets. You can't have hedgehogs. Only venomous you can have is native, which would be rattlesnakes. There's a lot of stuff you can't have here. It's pretty crazy.
Man, like everybody, I probably envisioned California not what it is. What are those memes like? What people think something is, what it actually is. And
it's accurate. That's exactly 100%.
Yeah. So I have never in my life thought like, are ferrets legal in California? But I immediately think of the scene from The Big Lebowski where they throw the ferret in the tub, at him, and that's definitely in California, man.
Yep.
So, like, I'm disappointed to know that that there's that
you can't even have ASFs here.
I knew that.
So, like Antoine calls them, I think he calls them Kenyan bush hamsters or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of desert field mice.
Or desert field mice. Yeah.
That one I've heard. Oh yeah, Rick got it as well. Yeah, okay. So I'm not the only one. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I get this email out of the blue and they're like, "Hey, it was really great to talk to you. I really hope you've thought about like vending like we discussed." And then I don't know, probably a little bit of ego, but a little part of me was like, "Ooh, are they going to throw a table at me to entice me to come there?" No. And it's like not established. It's not in a big town. And I was like, "Well, I don't know. Maybe
I think I'm good." I don't know.
Yeah. I know I do think so, but then I looked on the calendar. I was like, I don't have anything going on. It's 45 minutes south. It'd be an easy home show. Like,
and that's what I'm jealous because you're pretty centralized where you can do a lot of shows. Whereas for me, I got to rely on the California ones and maybe in the future, maybe an Arizona show. But even then, getting out of California into most cities in Arizona is like 7 hours. So. Like the idea of going to Tinley is just, for me, it's out of the question right now. There's just no way.
Right. Well, that's kind of how Pomona is, but you were right on the centralized location. And I had, again, just living in Florida in the South all my life, I had no idea. First, I had no idea the quantity of people in Minnesota and Minneapolis. Man, this is just a huge, it's a massive market. Yeah, well, and that's kind of what my thought was. I was like, oh, I didn't know it was this big. And I was like, yeah, they got all 4 sports teams. Like, there's what, maybe 10 cities like that?
There are very many, yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's anyway, yes, it's big. I think Rick did the research one of the previous shows recently. He said it was almost 4 million people in the metro area. Like, that's a big market, man.
That's a good sized city, yeah.
But yeah, to your point, within 5, I think actually even 5 hours, I could be all the way down to Omaha, but I can vend without getting a hotel, Des Moines, almost all of Wisconsin, all of Minnesota. So, and just
it's a lot easier.
Oh, big time. No hotel. And they're 1-day shows. My animals are back home. It's really pretty easy, man. I'm enjoying that scene, and it wouldn't make sense to do if there weren't just a massive amount of people. Cause like, that's a lot of shows,
Yeah. I wish we had more of that out here. Even if there were just 1-day shows that were good shows to just go and sell animals. But California's pretty, I mean, I know we have we have a bunch of shows, but I've heard mixed things about a lot of them. I know the super shows are great, but I've heard mixed reviews about a lot of the other ones. Where they're kind of like, it's hit or miss, and they are, you hear the horror stories of like they don't check people's animals that well, and there's mites. I'm just kind of like, I don't want, knock on wood, I've been doing this 6 years, and no issues. I would like to not come home with mites.
Right. Yeah, I definitely do look around me, and I'll be very transparent about it. I do everything I can to make the show promoter's life easy. So like, if I could buy a whole year's worth of shows and they don't have to wonder if I'm really good for being in or not, and I can just pay them, I'll do that. If I can, I don't request like where my tables are. I don't complain. I just come in, I just do my thing.
That's how I am. I'm just put me wherever you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I do part of all of that for just what you're talking about. Like if the day comes, I walk in and I'm like, I don't want to vend next to that guy. I'm not saying I'll lay out any ultimatums, but I would be like, hey, I do my really, really best to never be a hassle to you, but could I move literally anywhere?
Just one row down.
Yeah, I'm not even trying to get like positioning or anything. And I've only ever had that once, and it wasn't even with mites. It was actually after the fact. I vended a show, and for whatever reason, just by dumb luck, every person on that island had like 2 toddlers with them. I mean, I had Hot Wheels flying at my ankles, all that. And I went to the promoters afterwards and I was like, you know me, I'm not trying to cause anything, but could I move literally anywhere? And
away from the Hot Wheels.
Yeah. And they actually emailed me back and they were like, oh my gosh, we put you in hell, Adam. Sorry for that. And I was like, okay, cool. We are good. All forgiven. I am no grudges. Thanks. And, but I think relationships are important and
oh yeah.
Same with the show promoter. Like we might need that sometimes,
Yeah. And I've never had any issue vending shows at all. Honestly, it's been pretty great.
Yeah. So how, when is the next show that you think that you'll be vending?
It would probably be the next Pomona in January of next year.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
I'll basically be taking this year off from vending because the last show, it was kind of the same thing. I didn't have a lot available, and then it was also my birthday weekend, and I was kind of like, I kind of want to just go hang out on my birthday. I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I don't have a lot to sell, so just kind of hung out that Friday, and that was it. But yeah, I won't actually be vending this year. That's kind of crazy to say, but it's also a year of me breeding more so for myself. I said I have the clutches that are going to be, pieds and Lucy's and bananas for shows. Sure. That'll be for the next round of shows. But a lot of it's just all holdback stuff for me, like double recessive holdback stuff.
Oh, nice. So will you, or do you envision when you have the volume in the inventory, if the next show isn't for, whatever the math is, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever, whatever the math is off the top of my head, I'm guessing Morph Market. Do you focus on any other marketplaces? Will there even be a focus to sell, or is it to hold back until the show?
So definitely Morph Market. I think so far my sales have been pretty 50-50 actually. When it comes to shows versus Morph Market, it's been pretty half and half, which is nice.
Yeah.
The perk to California is a lot of people out here are reptile buyers, so I haven't had some kind of via Instagram, hey, can I come pick it up? And I'm kind of like, I'll meet you somewhere because my snakes are at my house, and I really don't want some stranger that I've never met in my life knowing where I live,
That's right. Yeah, my answer is always the Target right up the road is a great parking lot. Cameras everywhere, guys. Let's just meet there.
Exactly. It's actually a funny story. The last pickup I did was with a guy with his kid. It was actually super, super cool because the kid was super excited. But he hits me up. He's like, hey, can we meet at this mall on the way over here? And I was kind of like, well, I'm going golfing tomorrow morning. If you want, I'll meet you on the way there and we can just exchange, the snake for the money and all that. And like, okay, cool. So I hit my buddy. I'm just like, I really hope he doesn't flake on me because if not, I'm going to be driving around with a snake in the golf cart,
right. Yeah.
Being like, well, hopefully no one knows I have a snake in here because they might not let us hit these 18 rounds.
Did he come through for you?
Oh yeah, he was fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The kid was all excited, and it was one of those things like you mentioned earlier. I kind of take pride on presentation with how I ship my stuff. I don't do it nothing wrong with the typical way. Like, I get it, just put the paper in there, put the regular bag, and do all that. But I kind of I go into it before on a video and all that. I like people opening it and be like, oh wow, like there's color and matches and there's pamphlets and info and all this stuff in there. I did the same thing with the in-person stuff. I gave them the folder with all the info on the breeding, what to do if you want to put it in a cage versus a tub and all that. And that kid was over the moon. That's the kind of stuff I do like seeing, even at shows too. You saw a kid, their first snake at a show, and it's super cool to see.
I think you should talk more about that, actually, because I will say I was very impressed. There was a reel that you did on Instagram. And actually, I'll let you talk through it and tell about it. But tell me a little bit about, like, is that with every snake? Do you have certain tiers? I mean, you probably have. What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I'm guessing off the top of my head, like, you got the regular packaging, which is, I don't know, $4 or $5 per box. Then you, and like I said, I'll let you tell about it. But I would guess you got $10, $12 in that packaging per, maybe not per animal, because you could put more than one animal in the box, but per package you got about $10, $12.
Yeah, and it's and I buy everything in bulk, so a lot of the crinkle cut paper is all from Uline, but I bought that came in like a ton. Like when that got shipped, I opened it and I was like, I'm not gonna run out of this for a long time. It's like in the garage and everything.
I don't know if it's either 20 or 50 pounds of the stuffing, and I didn't think anything of it. I just ordered.
That's how I was. Yeah.
It's like one of those stuffed animals at the fair that's as big as you as a kid. I'm like, I'm not going to have to order the stuffing for years.
I think I got like 20 pounds of black and red crinkle cut paper. I didn't realize mentally how much 20 pounds of crinkle cut paper is. And then I was like, well, I'm good for a bit. That's cool. And then same thing. A lot of stuff I get is in bulk, like I said, from I'm having a brain fart right now. Right, I think it's Vistaprint is where I get a lot of my stuff done from.
Yeah.
And it's folders with clutch cards and all the information and.
Yeah, it was like a real estate folder with the little business card holder in the front there, and I was impressed with it, man. It looked good.
And I kind of I give credit where credit's due. I see people that have ideas, and I kind of take from everybody and kind of put it into my own thing. And a lot of that did come from Garrett at Reach Out Reptiles, because he's kind of the same way, has his own custom boxes and does that kind of thing. And then I know Will from RCR, same thing, very much like you buy a stick from me, you're going to get a presentation, you get what you paid for kind of thing. So I kind of wanted to be on that kind of level with going a little bit. It might cost me more to ship it, but if it gives the person and the customer more of an incentive to come back and be like, well, hey, he gave me all this cool stuff. I want to buy from him again.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I will always be a believer, and I don't think everything works for every person, but I think every person should try and find some way to differentiate themselves to where, it's like the famous question on from Chris Eaton, why should somebody buy from you? Like, that's important to ask.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And, it can evolve, it can change, it can be a work in progress, but it is important to think of that. And I think that's the case with restaurants. I mean, come on, I wasn't changing the world. I was serving steaks, chicken tenders, and ranch dressing. I just think I did it better than the guy down the road for, 30 years kind of deal. So I think it's really important to do that. Where the bags, are those the REDLINE bags, or
those are the REDLINE bags?
Those are the REDLINE bags.
And then
did they just happen to match your red and black branding, or did you you tailor it to that?
No. So when Robin was posting the bags, I was kind of like, oh, these are perfect.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy these all day. Like I'm not using any other kind of. And it's funny, is I actually had bought a bunch of regular white bags before that. And I don't even care. I'm gonna rebuy these. Like, I'll use the white bags at shows. Is kind of what I'm thinking.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is one of the dumbest reasons ever to not do something, but I went to the University of Florida, and something branded red and black is never ever going to have my logo on it, because all it makes me think of is the Georgia Bulldogs, and I'm not.
You can't do that.
I'm not doing it. It's bad enough I got to have these people from Tennessee, the volunteers, on my show. Brian Carter is great, and actually,
I love Brian.
Yeah, Brian's fantastic, and I got Herp and Harbin's coming up in a couple of weeks as well. Nice. So they're from right there in Knoxville. So I gotta lay the groundwork of expectations here for sure.
Yeah, it's funny. Even my room right now is painted black and red. Like those are my two favorite colors. If you ask me, what kind of sports car would you have, black or red?
Black and red, yeah.
Chairs black and red, computers black and red. Like,
so on. So you got the box, you got the crinkle paper red and black, the bag red and black. Oh my gosh! Of all things, Shannon, you're a Bulldog fan too. Pete's sake, man, I can't win. And then the folder. So I was talking with somebody locally here, and I would share, but actually I don't know if they feel like this is proprietary or whatever. But we were talking about like, at what point should people have like the Apple experience, like the experience where you're opening that new MacBook or you're opening that new, I can't even imagine what the VR goggles are like to open.
Oh, those are good. My buddy's thinking about buying those, and I'm like, you can buy it, and I'll use yours. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, like I'm not buying. I'm not that guy, but I'm kind of I was pretty. Here's how big of a geek I am. When I saw that the Walmart was carrying the M3 MacBook Airs now for cheaper than they've ever been, I was like, maybe I need to get one. I don't need to get one for the record. I do not need to get one, but I was like, man, maybe I need to get one. At that
I'm the
price.
same way. I don't have a Mac. I don't have a Mac at like a laptop, and I've always debated like, well, I've got the iPhone, I've got iPad, I've got like all this other Mac stuff. Maybe I should just get a Mac.
Oh, you should, man. I'll be honest with you, just for content production and the traveling from your iPhone to the Mac, just the AirDrop technology is
so nice.
Oh, it's game. I'll never go back. I'm ruined. Like anything technical that matters, I don't care. That easy everyday stuff, I'm a junkie for sure, man, on that. But anyway, yeah. So that experience, and I was talking to them, and they were like, and they were working on something that was about $100 per.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, that's a lot. But then again, I was at his place filming triple visuals that he just hatched.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can afford to kind of eat that cost a little bit.
Well, and he certainly wasn't. So he was saying that maybe he would sell 10, 15 snakes a year that warranted what he was coming up with.
That treatment.
Yeah, that treatment. And that kind of hits. And like, I don't look, for the record, I have no several $1,000 snakes. But on the other hand, if I'm shipping a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 snake, or hell, at that price, I might just be delivering it myself. Just go for a road trip for that price. Like, what a cool thing. And I'll just leave it like, say it was like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, you just, where you're opening it and you're like, what? Like, how could it possibly be worth that much money? And then you're like, oh, well, I don't know if this is worth that money, but it makes me feel a little bit better about
cool.
money.
Yeah.
It's like going to the Lexus dealership. You're going to get a free car wash. They don't care about you don't care about the $8 you're saving on the car wash. But
but you're getting something for free. It feels nice.
And I paid to be part of this little. I don't have a Lexus, but I've heard that that's what they do. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So you get a little treatment. You get a little stroke on there. So anyway, I really liked it, and it stuck out. It looked great. It was it stuck with me on the show prep for sure, man. So anyway, point being, everybody, you should check out Matt's Instagram and see the reel on there.
I do have a problem though. Whenever I start selling crested geckos, I'm going to find a way to do this with them because the boxes are the small boxes and I can't fit that big folder in there. So I'm kind of like, what can I do to kind of still give that experience, but not have to put a tiny crested gecko in a big, 8x8 box or something.
But that's the beauty of like entrepreneurism and these moments where everybody like claims, or we all think of entrepreneurism as like, what's the one problem and how are you going to solve it? It's not the one, it's the million little things that you could do a little bit better. Yeah. Like I say, I go back to the steaks, burgers, and chicken tenders. For Pete's sake, I wasn't solving it, but I was solving a million little things. our dressing was better, our temps were spot on, our service was excellent, the atmosphere was beautiful, blah, blah, blah. All of those millions of little things, I think. So I'm intrigued. How do you usually ship crested geckos? I was thinking they usually came in deli cups. Do they?
I've never produced any yet. I've got 2 eggs incubating because of room temperature.
Yeah,
but from what I've gotten, they're just in little deli cups with. Usually they put the cryo packs in there and everything.
Yep, yeah. But so yeah, you gotta invent the better deli cup now. You know?
Yeah, maybe some kind of little box that when they open it plays music or something. I don't know, man. I love Flawless, dude. They're great. I talked to them for a bit at Tinley too.
Will and Audra are fantastic.
They're
They've
awesome.
been great to me, and like they're such good people. You're almost like, what are you up to? Like, what are you trying? No, they're great, man. It's fantastic. And thanks for hanging out tonight. I hope. I guess I shouldn't get into people's personal business, but anyhow, there was a little injury on their team at Tinley. I hope everybody's feeling better and got back in the game. I hope you guys got home all right. But yeah, they do pretty well on some presentation and style points. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and I was even talking to them at Tinley. We have a similar thing going, but flipped. Whereas they started with the crested geckos and went into the ball pythons.
Right.
And I started with the ball pythons and went into the crested geckos, and we're both kind of learning from the mistakes we made with the other and not doing them with what we're, the current.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing I did talk about when they were on the show, once you've started one business and you, or one concept or one focus, and you've kind of figured that out, starting a second related one is only like, I don't know what percentage of the work, but it's much less. There's transferable skills. There's lessons that I've learned. There's a way that, you've learned. I'm still learning how to ride the ups and downs and like not panic every time that, 2 days go. It was so funny. Like even today, I was like, it's been a couple of days since I got an inquiry right here on the show.
Pops right up.
Yeah. Somebody texted me. Okay, cool. So like, learning how to tell yourself, just keep doing the right thing over and over, and the big things happen. So yeah, I think that there is something to starting one thing and having sort of an analogous opportunity to start another thing where you can transfer a whole lot of those skills.
Yeah, you learn a lot. I mean, I've learned. I haven't done a YouTube video in a year almost. Actually, I was doing every Monday for a year straight. That was kind of my goal, was put a video out every Monday for a year straight. I did it, and I burned myself out. And it got to the point where I was kind of running out of ideas, and I didn't want to be that guy that just makes content to make content, So I was kind of like, I'm going to take a break, and when I get that kind of passion back to do it, I'll do it again. But I kind of want to do a thing like, what did I learn? How to start, buying snakes. What did I learn? Kind of video.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do that, and you could do, not that you need like ideas from Adam, but you could play into the disappearing for a year. Like, what did I learn this year? Or, my next 10 videos will be 10 things I learned or whatever, you can play into it and lean into it.
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit. I was going to start another topic that was the topic of like building, speaking of Will and Audra, building, expanding, because you got some pretty good investment going on right now. But I was looking at the time. Let's go through the sponsors real quick, take a quick break, and then we're going to jump into that other topic. And audience, I hope you'll stick around. As I said in the intro, I couldn't be more proud of this. First, I'm thankful for the sponsors. Look, let's be honest. There's a business transaction there. It's wonderful. It's helpful. But the people, they make it easy for me to advertise for them because they're legitimately wonderful people. Like, they're going to do right by you. I don't know if they have the right animal for you or not. I'm going to tell you what they have, but I could tell you I either own or would own animals from all of these people, and I've spent a good amount of time with them before their logo goes up next to my brand. And I don't think I say that enough, but I'm really, really thankful for them. So I want to welcome our newest sponsor. That is Robbie Richard at REDLINE Reptiles. He's out of Greer, South Carolina. If you didn't see the show that he was on, check it out. It's a Tuesday night show, and you can just search REDLINE. Robbie has a pretty focused high-end collection, man, like jealousy kind of stuff. But Robbie's primarily working DG, Pied, and Clown with the dark genes. So we're talking doubles and triples of those genes with other codoms like Blackhead and Stranger. He's a great guy. Check him out if you haven't, and please show him a little bit of love and support there. That is Robbie at RGen Reptiles. He does have a Linktree. It's down below in the description, and you can check out his animals there. Danny and Renee Rocha at Portuguese Pythons. I never heard anybody say a bad word about them. They're also doing some really great high-end stuff. I know that they recently hatched a super blackhead ultramel clutch. They just posted their holdbacks of dark gene pieds as well. And I've got a 1.3 project of ultramel pied stuff from them with codoms in it as well. So stay tuned on that. You'll start seeing Proper Royals production from some of their animals that I invested in. Trevor at Ball Labs. He's in Aurora, Colorado. Been keeping reptiles for over 20 years and breeding ball pythons for 15. He knows what he's doing. He's doing it right. He's also one of the very few licensed rodent breeders and distributors in Colorado. As we all know, every state has different laws. And technically in Colorado, if you're moving rodents, you need to be licensed. And he does things the right way. Very excitable, passionate guy. His logo is perfect for him. He is a bit of a mad scientist that likes some bright colors. And Trevor is working with Puzzle, Ultramel, Clown, VPI, Xanthic, and Tri-Stripe. And he didn't want me to tell everybody, but Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset as well. You can check out all of his snakes at the link below. Also, Chris at B and S Reptilia, my partner in crime, vending partner at Tinley. And I think we get to hang out this summer at Warfels Cookout, July 1st. I think I'll be out in Pennsylvania. We're finalizing those details, but I got the hard part at home taken care of. It's just minor details from here on. So Chris at B and S Reptilia works with all sorts of different animals and species, ball pythons, of course, but also boas, locality boas, colubrids, pituophis, if that means anything to you. Chris is your guy. Blood pythons, and he's super knowledgeable, absolute resource help for me, a bit of a mentor to me as well. He's looked out for me a lot. He's also the distributor of the chipper in the Pennsylvania market. So check him out. If you're not in Pennsylvania and need any of the stuff that he has, I happen to know he's pretty good about shipping stuff too. So check him out. Give him a shot. The banner sponsor, shedtesting.com. That's Charlie at Gray Rider Reptiles. What can I say? The guy is disrupted the market. He's blowing up. Everybody's talking about how fast they get their results. I'm not going to pick on any competition, but when people make jokes about waiting to get results versus Charlie, he's doing something right. He's taking care of people. He's a great guy. He's doing it right, and great customer service. If you use the promo code PROPER15, you're going to get 15% off of 2 orders of shed tests. That's plural on tests, no fine print, no asterisk. Proper 15. Give it a shot, and definitely check him out on his new website, shedtesting.com. Last but not least, Reptile, REDLINE shipping. Where would I be? Man, those guys have been great. Talk about a great team, people who care, look out for you. Your experience is going to be great. The price is as competitive as anything in the market, but use promo code PROPER5. You can get an extra $5 off your next shipping label. Truly like a concierge service for shipping. Call their customer service one time. Just ask them to check in on where your animal's at. Like, don't waste their time, but seriously, it's incredible how dialed in and customer focused they are. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you to the sponsors. Thanks to Matt Sommers for being here tonight. Speaking of descriptions links down in the description. Matt's links are down there in the description as well. You can find a link to his Instagram. Morph Market is on there, and I think YouTube as well. So check out Matt. Matt, thank you for patiently awaiting while I'm hanging out. Oh, there's Charlie in the audience right there. Yeah, look at everybody's talking about sending them sheds. I just got a result last night, man.
I need to send some in too. I've got like 6 just sitting on my
fantastic.
table.
I got to get Charlie back on for some updates, and like we have personal conversations, we have business conversations, but I'm not going to go like breaking news, and that's his stuff to announce. But he's got cool stuff on the horizon. Mark my words, like he's not slowing down. So it's been really cool to see, and I get excited about that stuff. I love people that everybody is dismissed, and then like, oh wait, we're still here and we're doing our thing. And and speaking of, there's 46 people hanging out tonight. Thanks, guys. I know that you could be anywhere, so
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Matt, talk to us, and we might have gotten a little clue earlier. You said your family business was construction, but talk to us. It looks like you have a new facility or new components of a facility or reconstruction or renovation or something.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you got going on with that. It's got to be an exciting time, man.
Super excited. So like I said, I work for my family's company. So with it being construction too, there's perks, a lot of we build schools. So a lot of the time we have, extra lumber and supplies after the job's done.
Sure.
Well, the initial idea that I had was to just take the ball pythons, and I have an office next to where mine is. It's kind of like the print room where I print all the blueprints and all that. But
okay,
theoretically I was thinking, okay, I can move the printer into my office. It'll be tight, but it'll be fine. And I can put all the ball pythons into the office next to mine. And I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll have the snakes there. I can keep an eye on 24/7.
Do other people work out of this office space?
No. So it's just me and my parents, and that's it. And my grandfather was here when he was still with us, but he's no longer, sadly. But,
and so really what I was getting at is whoever else occupies the space, they're going to be cool with like, hey, there's Matt's office, and then and then there's a couple hundred snakes.
There's a room full of 100 snakes. Yeah, my dad's not a snake guy. My mom's pretty chill with them. My dad is like, I don't even want to look at it. Like they'll both come and support me at the shows and kind of see how I'm doing. But my dad will be looking and be like, yep, real cool. All right, see you later.
Yeah.
But
all of my parents, my folks, my in-laws, they're all like, they'll look around the house and be like, okay, I guess it's going pretty well. So what's upstairs? We're out of here. We're out of here.
I tell them all the time too. I'm like, this is your guys' fault because you didn't let me have any reptiles as a kid. So when I was an adult, I just went full blown crazy with it. But that was the plan. And then my dad was kind of like, well, why don't, because they have a second property that they rent out that has a barn on it.
Oh, nice.
Those big steel barns and everything where they kind of put like all the compressors and supplies for the jobs in there. And he was kind of like, we have room. What if we just built you like a little facility kind of thing in the corner?
Right.
Do you want that? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like,
yeah,
of course.
For sure.
So
how close are the temperatures to where you could run ambient? Like, are you going to have to run HVAC and everything?
We're going to run everybody has. I think you have one behind you.
Yeah, the mini split.
The mini split. Yeah.
I love it. I'm a junkie for those things. And I got to say, even in Minnesota winter, I would, if it was above about 4 degrees, I didn't need supplemental heat. That thing was efficient.
Yeah, it gets hot out here. So the big thing, it doesn't get too cold. It'll get to 30 30s at the coldest at night.
Okay, all right.
But we're going to insulate it and everything. So theoretically, the main thing we're worried about is the heat. But with the coolers, I think we'll be fine. But yeah, so far it's the last I checked, I think we're actually done framing it now. So now it's going to get into the fun stuff of like electrical and plumbing. Because I do want to put a sink. I told him, I was like, I got to have a sink. I was like, I have to have a sink. And
gotta have a sink.
That is like my two big things. I was like, I don't care how big it is. I need a sink because right now, I'm taking the pitcher of water. I use a plant water thing. I can't think of the word, but I'm walking that, back and forth from the bathroom to the snake room every, 20 cups of water kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm not laughing. Like so I don't have a hose in here, but I have my massive sink, and nobody believes how fast and how much I flip my tubs, but I do, man. And it's having extra tubs and it's having that sink, man. And I can go, no problem at all.
And it's not. I mean, it's going to be a very long room now. Width or depth, it's like 8 feet, so it'll fit. I'll be able to have one wall of racks and then enough room to kind of get them opened and then walk down and be comfortable, which is fine. You know, I don't need anything massive, but to kind of go back to how I kind of take ideas from everybody and kind of put them into my own thing. You know, I've been watching videos of everybody's facilities. You know, I've been to Justin's place. I watched, you know, videos on Shelby's place. I'm kind of like, okay, well, they have that. Okay, I want that.
Right.
That kind of thing. You know, I wish I could have the big windows and everything that they have, but I do have a window with a wall where I'm kind of going to do the Justin and Shelby thing and put my logo and everything on there. But
oh, cool. Nice. Yeah. I love the idea of when there's like perks to the job. How great is it with construction? Like I had the food and the wine perks, which is nice day to day, but that's not going to build a facility for me. So that's cool. And I get looking at other people's stuff. Bob's white floor, when I saw it in the pictures, I was like, that just looks killer every time. I was like, I want a white epoxy floor in here. That's going to be my little special. And
that was my debate for the last 2 weeks, is because I saw Josh's floor at J Royals, and he's got the nice like marble, and so does Shelby, the nice marble kind of look. And I was like, oh, do I want just a simple white, or it's kind of like the clean aesthetic, or do I want to get a little fancy and do the marbleized stuff? I ended up going with the marbleized stuff because I was like,
oh wow, nice. Well, I would say if I had to do it from scratch, I love the white epoxy, but I would have a floor drain put in it like a kitchen. And I don't have that here. And what I hate is like, Adam, of course, the white shows all the dirt, but I can't like deck scrub like I would have in a kitchen and squeegee into a
push
drain.
It all. Yeah.
I have nowhere for it to go. And then
I won't have that either.
And then if you break out a mop, you're just kind of like, it just like pushes the dirt around, you know? So I use, what are those companies that make like the dusters and the mops and the
Swiffer.
Swiffer. Yeah. So I burn through Swiffer mops and they do pretty well. So if I had it to do over again, I would have a drain in here, but that's different than just a floor. But I liked what you were saying about having the extra goods left over in Florida, where all the development is just nonstop. I would like cruise the construction sites, and I would see that they would toss out like the LVP flooring that they had extra a box or two of.
That's crazy what they throw out.
Yeah, well, and I only needed like 80 square feet of it. That's like a little more than one box. So I would grab that. These days, that pop and click LVP flooring is really hard to beat.
Did we lose him? You froze up on my end.
Looks like my internet conked out, but now we're back.
I think
you're good. Did I lose you?
No, you're good now.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, those are, I do like I would be torn, I think. Put it this way, I think in my rat shed, I'm going to put the LVP flooring down. It's so durable and waterproof where I can, and it doesn't show everything like white. Like you mop something that's not bright white, it could be clean and it's going to look fine. Bright white, it could be clean, but it's going to have that like haze of gray on it or something.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now too, is because it's technically 2 floors. So it's the bottom floor is going to be the snakes, and then top floor is going to be a big storage area, and then a small little, basically a rat shed. It's I think it's like 8 by 10, not huge, but big enough to kind of feed my own collection.
I don't know if that's on my end or yours. So last I heard, you said you were going to have a second floor, and it's the rat shed up there.
Yeah, so the rat shed would be about like 8 by 10, just enough to kind of feed my own collection, and that's really it. But I'm trying to figure out what to do flooring there right now. So I'm kind of, do I want to try to epoxy the top floor too, or just kind of maybe do like some kind of laminate or something? I don't know yet. But whatever, I kind of figure whatever is going to be the easiest to keep clean, really.
You're gonna sneak some desert field mice.
Yeah, I actually am. Everyone's like, don't say that. Don't say what you're going to do. I'm just like, I think everybody in California that's breeding rats for snakes or breeding rodents for snakes is probably doing this field mice.
I've been
enjoying. I'm new to the rodent game. I could tell you I don't enjoy anything to do with rats other than they make great food for the animals. But man, the ASFs here they're doing fantastic. I flip everything every 12 days. Actually, today was a rodent day. So I spent 3.5 hours in and out there. I just have one like 8-inch fan that just pumps out. And I have to figure out, like, actually I might need to pick your brain off the air on ventilation. I don't know how to ventilate something in the cold winter without just losing temperature control.
Without it pumping the cold air back in.
Yeah. So I got to balance that or find out how people do that around here. But man, the ammonia doesn't build up. The smell doesn't build up. It's really great.
That's what I've been hearing. Everyone's been telling. The thing with the whole building for me is I'm excited about it because I will be saving so much money on rats. Because right now I'm dropping like $250 a week feeding my.
Oh, you don't have them yet?
No. I'm still relying on, I buy my frozen from Cold Blooded Cafe. Yeah. And then I'm buying the live ones from the shop I go to. But, I'm kind of like, that's the big thing. I'm kind of like, I want to get this building up and going and then be self-sustainable. That'll be, I look at it this way. If I'm saving, $1,000 a month on feeding my snakes, that's money I could be buying with more snakes or buying a rack or other stuff,
Big time. I was sharing on the since you brought them up, Cold Blooded Cafe. Everybody, if you haven't used the promo codes, proper11 will get you 11% off. But if you have used it, they've reset. You can reuse it again. So,
nice.
Yeah, if you're buying regularly, it's a little change in your pocket. Of course, now I got distracted. You were saying you were buying live locally, frozen from Cold Blooded, and I lost my train of thought because I wanted to plug the sponsor, which is good, but it's not.
It happens.
It's bad. Yeah. I can't
breeding the roast is probably the one thing I was looking forward to the most. I was saying though, just to split the cost of like being able to put that money elsewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. I was just sharing on the Patreon. So even just ASFs for just my hatchlings and a few of them that won't take the frozen from Cold Blooded. Yeah, I was spending about $500 a month. And so like last month after expenses and everything else, I made like $180 selling ASFs. Not that big of a deal, Adam. That's a whole lot of money for $180. No, it's $500 that I didn't have.
You had to pull out, yeah.
That is easy. So now, in my first month of being profitable, it was $680 net positive versus what I was doing.
Too. You don't think about it when you're doing it weekly. You're kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm just buying my rows, and you start adding it up, and you're kind of like, holy crap, I'm spending a lot of money right now on feeders. Like,
yeah, at $680 a month, that's almost $9,000, or not $9,000, $8,000 a year.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping. Like, hopefully my tax lady can get me some money back this year because I spent a whole lot of money on feeders.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Yeah. I don't know about your lady, but my guy absolutely says, yeah, track every bit of that.
Yeah. Same thing. I give her everything, and I'm like, do what you got to do, as long as it's legal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just let me be able to stand by it. But yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely take him the expenses of the feeders. That's a good segue because I like to measure things in Gibson guitars, and $8,000 that's
a pricey guitar.
Oh, no. We're talking three, four. Yeah, maybe get a good used junior on the market out there. Maybe I could squeeze in 5 into that equation. You were talking about music earlier. Tell me what you got going on with music. I think I see a couple guitars on the wall back there.
I will confess, I have not played the guitar in probably about 10 years.
No.
Those are more decorate. One signed, actually, I did a whole meet and greet with Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson. So that one's actually signed by them.
Oh,
Don't touch that. And then the one, that's actually my first guitar I got when I was like 15. So actually, I was telling my buddy before, I was kind of like, I kind of wish I'd stayed on it. Like, not to be, a famous guitarist or anything, but just to kind of be able to still play it and play the songs I knew when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I love it. It's still my release. I was just talking with somebody today. Like, it's the one thing that I've really not wanted to turn into work because I never want to resent it. And I did for a little bit in college. I did make a go at that, just being how I paid for everything. And I did okay, but I burn out fast, man. I mean, how many 2-3 hour solo shows are you going to learn? And then you got to go play 5 nights a week and turn into a zombie and all that.
It's a lot of work. The music industry is not this glamorous thing people think it is. I'm like, they are like sleeping on buses, sometimes in vans. Like, it's not this like prestigious thing you think it is all the time, you know?
I was going to say, like, imagine moving into a van with 4 other dudes with no money. And then, you know, you go figure it out. But, did at that meet and greet you're talking about with Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie, was John 5 there? Did you get to?
I actually got to meet John 5. Yeah, it was super cool. Super cool.
I am not a metal guy, and I don't think I could name more than 2 Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie songs. But John 5 is.
Oh, he can play.
He's like. He is. I literally am working on some riffs that I watched in one of his videos, and I was like, you know what? I just need something to crank up the new like inspiration and creativity. I was like, man, I'm going to learn this, man. So for the next 2 months, I'll be working on his take on, I think it's called Sugarfoot Rag. It's an old country song that he just shreds on his Telecaster on, you know? So that's,
dude, he's so good. And that music's been like, I mean, I think aside from really the Reptiles and then maybe hockey, which I grew up playing, but music's been probably the biggest thing in my life. You know, my first concert was AC/DC when I was 12 years old with my parents, you know, and my mom's not so much the metalhead. She likes like Fleetwood Mac and Creedence Clearwater and stuff like that. You know, she actually likes Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
But that's about, and Metallica. That's about as heavy as she'll get.
Well, and I mean, that's probably heavy enough. I mean, I know there's more. I know there's past that, but I tell you what, I have seen Rob Zombie live. One of the
amazing
best spot on. He always has the best band. He's cut from the same cloth as Alice Cooper, both in the shock rock stuff, but also those guys are the best bands, and they're out on tour this summer together. Like I got a little itch to go see Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie.
It's actually funny because my favorite band of all time is Rammstein.
And
I've seen them live twice, and that is without question the best show I've ever seen in my life. And my buddy and I, we were supposed to do this in 2019. We were going to do a Europe trip, and he got in a real bad motorcycle accident, almost died.
Yeah,
he's fine now, thankfully. But then COVID happened, and this trip's just been getting put off for the last 4 or 5 years. And we finally were kind of like, hey, let's just do it. Like let's start planning this trip and actually go. And we're going in May. So this will actually be the first time I've ever left my collection for more than 3 days, and I'm a little bit like freaked out about it. I'm really hoping I don't have clutches drop while I'm gone and stuff like that. But we're going to Germany, and I checked. I guess how into music I am. I checked the dates. I was like, "What?
You checked the tour dates around time?
Yeah, and I was like, let's see if they're playing. They're playing like 3 days after we get there. And I told them, I was like, hey, you don't have to agree to this. I'm not going to be upset if you say no. They're playing. It's like a 4-hour drive. Would you be down to go there one day and just go to this concert? He's kind of like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Once in a lifetime thing. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, God. So we'll be seeing them in Germany next month. That'll be pretty crazy.
Nice. Sorry, guys in the audience, we'll come back to, I see a couple good questions. We're going to come back to the Reptiles in just a second. But because Matt's in California and you just told that story, you'll get a kick out of this. So I had a buddy come to me in 2007, and he goes, he just walks up with like the confidence. And this is one of these buddies always scheming something. He goes, hey, we're going to go to LA in like 5 weeks. I was like, I don't think I'm going to go to LA in 5 weeks, man. That's not going to work. I just got, my fiance at home, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, man, we found this package deal. If 3 of us go, we can get the car, the hotel, the flight down. That's something stupid. I mean, this was 15, 18 years ago now, but I think it was something stupid, like $250 all in. I was like, all right. I was like, what are we going to LA for? And he's like, well, I want to tell you, we're going to set aside a whole day just for you and your rock and roll Sunset Strip stuff. And I was like, okay, don't patronize me, but that's pretty good. I was like, what are we really going to LA for? And he goes, he goes, we got to go to the Rock the Bells festival. It's the first time Wu-Tang Clan's going to be all together since ODB died. And I was like, dude, I am not going to a Wu-Tang show in the middle of the desert in the middle of the summer. And he's
in
like,
California, of all places.
Yeah, and I'm living in Jacksonville. He's like, look, man, we need a third person to go, and you're the only one that even appreciates music, and at least we can like trade out a day on Sunset if you'll go to this. And he's like, I'll even buy your ticket. And I was like, all right, who all's going to be there? And he's like, Nas, The Roots. And I was like, all right, I've heard these guys are all legendary. I suppose I should go see them if I get the chance. He's like, yes, we're going to LA. And it was just what you're talking about, where you're like, all right, we're already going to be here. Look, I just need you to put up with me. We're going to go over here.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was actually, that was not the very first. That was the second time I've been to LA. But anyway, and they kept their word. And I did get to see Lemmy from Motorhead and the Rainbow while we were hanging out that afternoon. Yeah. It all worked out. So
I regret. Oh man, one of the last times they played live out here was at Coachella, of all places.
Oh yeah,
Coachella, and I thought I had gone to Coachella for one day twice before to see people. Actually, one of them was Wu-Tang Clan was at that Coachella. I actually saw Wu-Tang Clan, so it's kind of funny. But Motorhead was playing, and I was kind of like, I don't want to drive all the way out because I was living in Irvine at that time, which is like a 2.5-hour drive to Coachella.
Okay.
And I was kind of like, I don't really want to drive to Coachella tonight. Like, I don't want to do it. And I didn't do it. And then he died. And I'm like, and that's one of those things where I'm kind of like, I'm never going to see Lemmy and Motorhead. Like, I blew it. I blew it. Haunts me to this day.
Well, what can you do? Like we can't be perfect, but yeah, no, I love music. I love talking music, and I love, anyway, I appreciate it. So let's see. Perry asked, a fellow Minnesotan, Perry asked, what percentage is saved to grow versus buying 1,000 a month? So I'll tell you, if I were to be buying all of mine retail, I'd be spending a little over 1,000 a month. I think my total bill projected, if I didn't have the cold-blooded relationship, and if I wasn't growing my own, I think it'd be around 14 to 15,000 a year. But actually, I got it right here on the computer. I'll tell you. So Perry, I produce in the past 4 weeks, I've weaned 700 ASFs, and I'll tell you what I'll tell you my expenses from February and from March, because like some of the goods and the food that I bought in February, not the food, man, I burned through food, but like the bedding and pellets and the ammonia powder and stuff like that, I would have bought before. So the past 4 weeks, 700 ASFs from the moms, and rodent food and supplies for the past 2 months, February and March, was $343. And I didn't count how many I pulled in February. I don't know. I was ramping up. It was less than that, but I guarantee you it was over 1,000 animals that I've pulled, 1,000 weanlings that I've pulled for $343. Now that doesn't count, the racks that I bought and that stuff. So there is that upfront cost. But as far as just day-to-day overhead, once you're up and running on racks, I spent $343 in February and March. And like I say, if I were to spitball it, I'd say north of 1,100 animals that I pulled, or weanling rodents that I pulled. So that's pretty good. I mean, yeah. 340 divided by 2, that's one. So 170 a month. And those 2 months I would have averaged, if I said north of 1,100. So 170 a month, and I got about 550 rodents out of that. Did Dale say, I think I saw them? You think you saw Motorhead? You don't know if you saw Motorhead?
Maybe you meant Wu-Tang Clan, maybe.
Oh, that could be. Well, I don't know. I mean, either one of those, I feel like you should be able to say that a little more confidently.
That was an interesting show. I remember that. That Coachella was very, very diverse with the lineup they had. I was kind of like, you saw a little bit of it's cool, though, because I'm kind of the same. I'm not the kind of person with music where I kind of like everything. Like,
I'll go
minus country.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go see legends by and large and anything, because they probably do something right, and they probably have great bands.
but in my experience, for one night, one afternoon in San Bernardino, it was a disaster on stage with which I had no clue what was going on. There was like the 10 main dudes, and then they each had their own posse, and everybody had a microphone.
You're like, what is happening?
Yeah, there's 42 people with a microphone, man. I don't know what was going on. I will tell you what was interesting. Public Enemy was there, and they had Scott Ian from Anthrax as like their music director. And Scott Ian was ripping it with Public Enemy. I mean, so Chuck D and Scott Ian, you can't beat that, right?
No,
so
yeah,
it was pretty good. So I'm glad I was there. Yeah, Dale says he thinks he might have seen Wu-Tang in Jacksonville. There you go. All right. I can't knock you if you don't have any specific show memories, because like I say, to me, all of them on stage at once was just madness.
It's overwhelming.
I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea, but I mean, part of it, I was passing the time drinking. Oh God, it was hot in that desert too. I remember that day. So, hey Matt, where? So you said the next show is January, but where can people catch you on the internet? Where can they connect with you, follow you, keep up with everything you got going, all that?
Yeah, so Instagram is probably the best way. Morph Market's on there. I don't think I have. Yeah, I have to double check because I had a Facebook like business page, and I think it got deleted for inactivity because I just wasn't using it.
Oh yeah,
maybe. Those are the main things. I'm trying to think of what else. The shows I try to go to every NARBC show.
Cool.
I don't think I'll be at this coming
Arlington,
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
Just because it's with the Europe trip and everything, I need to save at least some money for that. I definitely want to do Daytona this year. Daytona has been on my list for like the last 3 years, and I haven't been able to. Something comes up every time where I can't make it.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I had said before that I thought I would go down, visit my dad, and go to Daytona. I didn't check my calendar. I have shows booked here. I'm not going to go to Daytona this year, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you're not close to it anymore either.
No, but a lot of people had asked, and I was like, all right, I think I got it figured out. Yeah, my dad's still in Jacksonville, so I'll just fly in. I'll drive down, make a day. I didn't even look at I got shows here. I can't go this year. I'll be at Tinley in October, but
I'll be at Tinley in October for sure.
Yeah, I will be in the North Florida area sometime this summer, so I will try and catch up with the old crew there. But yeah, I won't be in Daytona myself. You do have people asking you to come to Daytona, though.
Yeah, definitely. Just because there's a lot of people from like the Florida area where I haven't met still. Like, they don't. I somehow it's like they'll be at a Dallas or they'll be at Arlington the one time I don't go to, or they'll be at a Tinley the one time I don't go to it. So.
Right. Yeah,
it'd be cool to see because I met a lot of people this past Tinley that I hadn't met yet. Like you and Brandon Nixon, and I really got to talk with Steven and Courtney for the first time too, which is really cool because I had met them before, but it was one of those brief, like, oh hey, nice to meet you. How's the show? Okay, see you later, kind of thing, and then to see them again.
Yeah, we all hung out for quite a bit all together. I think Steven was even our Uber.
He was our driver.
Yeah, he was our driver one night.
I had to do the Irish goodbye that night because Steven was like, "Oh, you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we just left, and I didn't even say bye to nobody.
Well, Steven's really good at that move. Actually, I've been known to pull it too. But yeah, there's times where I'll be like, "He's gone." Oh yeah, he's gone. All right, but no, I never take any of that stuff personally, but. Yeah, Dale, I know, man. I was planning on it. But I'll give you a call when I'm ahead of time when I'm going to Jacksonville. I'd love to connect, figure something out. Daytona's not that far, and there's probably a beer somewhere that we could drink. So I would like to. I can't do Dallas, man. I can't. Not this time. It's on the car. I got to make some money, man.
Let them fix the Dallas shows because it's kind of in a weird spot right now. So.
That's what I heard, but I don't know. I think it goes back to the old ball python thing. Like everybody will look at a ball python, like they'll be fine. I don't know if the retic guys can't get in. I know, but Dale, I got to see if my season does what I think it'll do with some of the pairings I have this year. I actually would do. I would consider doing Dallas on top of Tinley next year.
Hey, we got Exotics. Exotics, I have to double check the calendar. I think it's next week. We'll be on the show. Herp and Harbin's coming up later this month. And I got Next Level Morphs coming up later this month.
Nice.
And Vanessa, I don't know her last name. I will find out. She handles all of the social media for the NARBC shows. So we'll talk media, we'll talk reptiles, and she's super cool. I met her at Tinley twice now, and just seems to be a real genuine, wonderful person. Yeah, next Tuesday. There we go. Sorry, behind the scenes, I try and book like 8 weeks at a time, and then in 2 months I'll do another 8 weeks. But that was yesterday, and actually the response was really good, so I couldn't remember everybody off the top
For
of my
you, it's
head.
got to get jumbled in your head. Like, okay, I've got all these guests.
Yeah, like, who's
somewhere.
next? And I was like, oh, I'm on the spot. Let me figure this out. All right, yeah. So next Tuesday, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, I'll be here with Exotics. Matt, thanks so much for hanging out, man. It's been a blast. I appreciate it.
I loved it, man.
Thank you. We have to check in later this year after you get some clutches and as you're heading into your January show. So maybe fourth quarter, we can get back together and see what's going on. We be at the October Tinley?
Yeah, I'll be in October for sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We got to, we're going to have to work out some tax deductions while we're networking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Some little write-offs at the bar there, maybe.
That's what I'm talking about. Envision Morphs, thanks for hanging out for the distance, for the duration, going the distance. I appreciate it. I hope to see you soon. Same to everybody that hung out tonight. Thursday morning, Proper Cup of Joe. Check out all the sponsor links and Matt Sommers links down in the description below. Thank you very much. I will see everybody soon. Matt, thank you so much, man. It's been awesome to have you, man.
Had a blast, man.
Stick around for just a second.